Hello, this is Super-Angelo, captain of flight Espresso 4000. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's right. Just a few hours ago, I've sent daily shot of inspiration number 4000. I have been doing this for 4000 consecutive days. And of course, many of you are part of this remarkable journey from the very first day. Even if you're not, though, today we are celebrating our super selves. In fact, just because it is 4,000 days, what I wanted to say is that I like to see today's masterclass as a 4K resolution to our super selves. Now, I have been planning for this masterclass for about 2 months now. And I've had, like many thoughts back and forth on how to go about it. And you know what? I wanted to, like have many things from the wall of gratitude, as I like to say, from all the messages that I have received during these 4,000 days. But I thought of going a completely different way. I thought, because all 4,000 days have always been about you. And you will see later on why this is so. So I thought today the best way to go about it is to pick the 40 most valuable, most impactful lessons on my journey and how they helped me go through all challenges and be here with you today after 4,000 consecutive days. And make sure that you also have the blueprint with which you can apply these 40 lessons or the ones that you find more valuable in your life and make your journey like a much faster journey, a much simpler journey, a much more happy journey towards your super self, towards what you want to achieve. So, without further ado, I want just to give a quick preview of how I feel right now by saying thank you to the following. Number one, every single open from all these emails that I've sent during these 4,000 days, every single open made a difference on how I feel, made a difference on how serious I would take my effort to make the most for you. Number two, I want to thank each and every client of mine from the past, present, and future, because they are like the founding members, let's say, and they are the sponsors of having 4,000 days of inspiration for free for all of you from around the world. And number three, each and every partner of mine and each and every contributing factor, like from the mailing service and like even the internet, the existence of the internet. It would be much harder for me, like to type or print the daily shots of inspiration and send it all around the world each and every day, right? Definitely more expensive. And last but not least, I think this is the most important one, at least for me. I want to thank each and every thank you message that I have received, and especially those that I've received on my most challenging moments. The moments that I thought literally that I was dying, the moments that I thought of quitting, the moments that I thought this is it. Much earlier than 4,000 days. Though here I am. So this is why I'm so grateful for these 4 things. So I want to start now with the first of the 40 most impactful lessons, and it's none other than the fact that we have one life. That's it. We have one life. This is the thing. Right here, right now, this moment will never come back. If we take advantage of it, we will earn a much better future. If not, we lost. And if I haven't taken, like your full attention by now, I hope now I do, because we literally have one life, and many times during the day we act as if we don't. We act as if we have what I like to call, maybe you've heard it in a previous masterclass, like these arcade games where if you lost, you had this insert coin, try again later. No, we can't. We have to make the most of this moment just for the sake of this moment and for our future. Now, number 2, I want to confirm or affirm that flow moments, miraculous moments, do happen, do occur. They are a real thing. And I started my daily shots of inspiration back in January 1st, 2015. But I got the inspiration about 2 months earlier. It was October 25th at 2:43 a.m. in the morning in Greek time, where I woke up, I got up, and I had like a huge block of thought with all the details of the daily shots of inspiration. In fact, the line that I end each and every message with, you deserve everything you want and we all deserve your best self, are one of the first things that I wrote in my notebook as I was jotting down. And I remember back in October 25th, 2014, I remember, even though this block of thought was huge and I was hoping, to be able to keep up and jot down everything, at the same time, I told myself, and I even wrote it down, I just want to take a moment and milk this miraculous feeling, what I'm feeling right now. This is how amazing that was. And I'm telling you this because if you do the work, and if you create like a proper vessel for your inspiration, it will happen. It's not an option. It will happen. But you have to do the work, and this is why we're here today. Now, number 3, I didn't start to do 4,000 daily shots of inspiration. This was not my intention. This was not my goal. It was when the financial crisis really hit Greece in the beginning of by the end of 2014 and the beginning of 2015. And since I've done my personal development and I've gone to so many seminars and I've read so many books, I thought maybe I could help someone by just sending an email every single morning. Not just that. My intention was not to teach, what you're doing is wrong and maybe what I'm suggesting is right. No, this was not my intention. My intention was just inspired by the words of Maya Angelou, the poet. It was just the fact that I cared about how you feel. So my intention was just to make you feel just a little better from the moment that you opened this email, this shot of inspiration. This was just my intention. And just because of the fact that my why was so strong, I am here today. This is how important it is for you to have a clear and compelling destination, something that means so much to you that pulls you forward, even though you have, some resistance in the form of limiting beliefs or limiting habits. We will talk about a lot more about that later on. Now, number 4, I will take you back to January 8th, 2015, which was like 8 days after my first daily shot of inspiration. It was my first webinar. And I was all excited. I was so enthusiastic. I've had prepared an amazing presentation. It was only for my Greek audience back then. So I was ready at 7 p.m. Greek time to deliver my presentation. And it took me about 50 minutes. I thought it went well, and as I promised myself, I would watch it as a student afterwards to make sure I jot down all the things that I could do better next time. This is what I do with all my webinars. Now, what happened though was a complete flop because as I started playing the webinar, the sound was off. There was no sound. So immediately I collapsed, right? Out of exhaustion and desperation. And a few seconds later, I pulled myself back up and created a new YouTube Live, which was Google Hangouts back then, if you remember. And I sent a new email with a new link. And 8 p.m., I was back live with sound this time. And why am I telling you this? I could have collapsed but I didn't, because I never ever thought about me. As I told you in the very beginning, and I'm very truthful about it, it was always about you. So I always cared about how you feel and how much value you get, never about how Angelo feels. What would they think? Would they like my webinar? Would they like how I look? Would they like my new haircut? No, I didn't care about any of these things. And this is why I was never nervous on my first webinar or my first seminar, live seminar, or my coaching calls or my group coaching calls. I was never ever nervous, because always I took myself out of the equation. It was only about how much value I can bring to you. How much closer can I take you to your destination by the end of any session? Number 5, if this is basically something that I've learned relatively, like it was about 2 months ago that I had this block of thought. As I was preparing for this masterclass, now that I remember, if after 4,000 daily shots of inspiration, you haven't learned how to be happy during adversity, you haven't learned anything. This is what I told myself. Angelo, you haven't learned a thing if you cannot be happy during adversity, not after it, not when you are most successful, not after, like a glorious moment like today, but when you're in the midst of adversity. Now, number 6. So what I just said sounds a bit, like out there, especially if you're new at this, right? Now we will take the next 5 lessons to see why. And they're none other than my 5 favorite, my 5 to thrive, as I call them, my 5 favorite exercises to elevate our emotional scale. Number 1, perspective. Perspective is miraculous because even if you don't manage to elevate your emotional state, you remind yourself that you are in control of your thoughts. You remind yourself that you can actually choose your next thought. And not only that, I have like a bookmark for my perspective, because one of the best books that I've read was Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. And if Viktor Frankl could find happiness during, his time in the concentration camp, I have no excuse. I have to do my work to elevate my emotional state, regardless of what is going on in my life. This is how I feel. And this is part of perspective. So if you're new at this, perspective is as simple as that. Let's just say right now you feel stressed, or you feel overwhelmed, or you just feel sad because you're $10,000 in debt. Okay? A way to go about it in perspective exercise is to tell yourself, okay, somebody else was $100,000 in debt and now they're worth $2 million. So just by being $10,000 in debt does not mean anything about my future. It's just a statement of how far I've gone in my journey so far, and that's about it. So now you're ready for step number 2, which is our 7th moment, and has to do with forgiveness. And before I talk to you about forgiveness, because many people have resistance about forgiveness, I want to tell you a little story. Maybe you've heard about it before. There are 2 monks, and they're about to cross a very kind of dangerous river. And by the time they're thinking about crossing it, a young girl comes and asks, "Oh, I'm kind of fearful about this river, and if I fall into the water, I cannot swim. So could you please help me, get through this?" And like the elder monk says, "Okay, no problem. Of course, I will pick you up." So he picks the girl up, goes through the river, and leaves her on the other side. The girl goes left to the left of the river. The 2 monks go to the right, and as they walk, like an hour passes by, 2 hours, 4 hours go by, and the disciple says, "I cannot believe you did that." And the elder monk says, "What? I cannot believe you touched a woman. You know this is against our oath or whatever that is. And the elder says, oh, I've let the woman down like 4 hours ago, and you're still carrying her? And what I want to tell you is sometimes we think with forgiveness or lack of it that we can keep drinking the poison, wishing for other people to die, right? And it's not just that. It was never the case whether you agree with someone or not. So forgiveness is just an indication that you appreciate yourself so much that you want to relieve yourself from the bitterness. And I want to take this forgiveness exercise to the next level today, because you've never heard this from me before, and maybe never before from anyone. When you think you're justified, feeling bitter about someone and not wishing to forgive someone, you want to ask for forgiveness from yourself because you're ruining your health by keeping this bitter state. From your family, because you're more bitter when you're around them. From your employees, if you have a business, or your partners and your customers and so on. And at some point, you might see how powerful this combo of perspective and forgiveness is. And you might see that basically you can let go of this bitterness by just saying, I forgive sincerely, completely, and irrevocably. And now you're ready for the next exercise, which is love, practice of self-love. And I want to give you a brand new perspective today, something that I've never mentioned before as well. Let's just say you're about to celebrate now maybe 4,000 daily shots of inspiration, or it's Christmas time already, and you want to celebrate with an amazing bottle of red wine. And you pick up a glass and you haven't noticed that the glass is broken. And you start pouring the wine, and of course, the wine goes off the glass, right? Same goes with a broken heart. You cannot fill it with love. And the only way you can fill your heart with love is by starting with self-love and expanding your love vessel enough so that you can become what I like to perceive as a perfect transmitter and receiver of love. And be able now, basically love is in the 0 to 1,000 scale from David Hawkins is at 500 exactly. So this is the moment where the seesaw trumps to your favor. It is the moment that you start making higher emotional state easier than having, like a lower emotion like stress or anger or fear. Now, you're ready for gratitude. And for gratitude, I want to tell you that, first of all, there was a remarkable study with a very big number of very, very successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. And they've shared all, their success secrets. And there was only one that was in common to all of them. And that was gratitude. This is how powerful gratitude is. Many times I like to say, you want to immediately be able to find at least 20 things you are grateful for. And if you cannot find 20, find 30. Now, I want to tell you another thing that has to do with gratitude. And that is that the moment you're grateful about something that means a lot to you, something magical happens, because you start triggering the same appreciation for the things that you haven't yet manifested. This is how powerful gratitude is. And now you're ready for the last exercise, number 5, which is happy landing exercise. If you're new at this, happy landing is where you close your eyes and see, and most importantly, feel yourself at your destination. You bring your future self to the present and you feel the emotion right now. So, for example, I see myself, taking a big raise, or, getting this promotion that I've been waiting for like 2 years. And now I feel immensely grateful. I feel proud I've achieved this and so on. And I feel it when? Right now, right? Now, with happy landing exercise, there's only the first step because these emotions are new to you and you want to make sure you accustom yourself to them, as we will see later on. Number 11. There are many people out there that say personal development is a hoax. Just live your life, do your very best, and like don't bother. I've came across many such notes, statements, or reactions during these 4,000 daily shots of inspiration. And I want to tell you this. It is as if you're saying, oh, it's just an airplane. Just go in and fly it. Don't bother. I mean, we just said, it was our first lesson. We only have one life, and you're going to mess with it just because you don't want to accept that there is a challenging process of progress. So, that said, I want to give you my perspective, which is tonight you're going to sleep better than you woke up, for sure. The only question is at what? If you keep smoking, for example, you will sleep a better smoker. And for you tomorrow, it will be easier to smoke and harder not to smoke, right? To quit smoking. If you go for a 30-minute walk today, tomorrow it will be much easier for you to go for another walk because it will have become a habit. You have trained your body at this, and you will get better at everything you put your attention on. Next, number 12. You cannot control crises like the financial crisis that we had, or COVID, or the new coronavirus, thing that will break out maybe 2, 3, 5, 20 years from now. You cannot control the outer world unless you're, like maybe the president of the United States is watching this masterclass that I doubt it. So what I want to tell you is that even though you have almost 0% effect in your outer world's like future, let's say, you have 100% control of your inner world, and this is where you want to focus on. Make sure you focus all your attention, all your energy on the things that you can affect. And this is a game changer. Number 13, regardless of what you want to achieve, regardless of what your destination is, you only have three, believe it or not, you only have 3 steps. Number 1, to make sure the destination is clear and compelling. You know exactly what it is, and it means so much to you that you're focused on it. Step number 2, you want to believe 100% that it is done already. And step number 0, you have to feel great. You have to be happy right now. Actually, you don't have to. You can achieve something just by having it be clear and compelling and believing at it. Step number 0, the first step, the earliest step, is not a necessity, but it makes things much, much easier. And not only that, it affects the quality of your life right now and during the journey, because remember, the life, our life, or an athlete's life is not the moment that he gets or she gets the gold medal, is the moment, the journey towards that gold medal as well. So the gold medal is just a moment, and the journey is what matters. So make sure you're happy during the journey. And there is another reason you want to have happiness as your fuel towards success. But the happier you feel, the better you feel, the more receptive you are for progress. Have a look at children. This is how they learn. They're happy, they're receptive, they're not, like angry all day long, about what happened yesterday. And this is why they allow, like much, much easier than most adults, new information to penetrate their consciousness and become part of their operating system. Number 14, there are 4 prime states. So we have this emotional scale from 0 to 1000, but we can group all these emotions to 4 prime emotional states. So you have what we call the victim state, the victim attitude state. And when you're a victim, the problem with being a victim is that you don't care that much about elevating your emotional state, but you care about bringing other people down. And this is why many people who are in a victim state, they stay there for long and they don't actually realize it that often. Number 2, the go-getter state. This is like a very popular state as well. And it's very noble, right? Because go-getters achieve a lot of things, but it is what we call a Pyrrhic victory. So if you haven't heard the term, it comes from a Greek general called Pyrrhus, who actually back in 279 BC won a very tough battle, I guess, against the Romans. And it is recorded that he said back then that if we have another victory as such, we're lost. So the problem was that the Greeks won, but with so many casualties that it didn't make any sense. This is how go-getters feel. So you wake up in the morning, you take your kid to school, then you go to work, you have like 2-3 very intense meetings, and maybe, like another struggle with a client or your boss or whatever, and then you go back and get your kids from school, and you go back home, you cook for them, and at night you're exhausted. And at the same time, you feel that if you put all this activity together, it doesn't make much sense. And now you're asking yourself, should I keep doing this? And this is where you want to elevate your emotional state to what we call the flow state. This is where things get done for you, let's say. You are entangled with synchronicities, meeting the right people at the right time, making the right calls, writing the right emails, even having the right things to say, let's say, for example, like how I feel right now. And then, of course, we have, last but not least, the enlightened state, which is not so much part of my journey so far. And this is why I'm not sharing any insights to you. But what matters to me the most is that you feel truly happy and unstoppable on your path towards achieving your number 1 priority. And that would be a victory for you. And that would be like a very miraculous moment for me. Just receive another message that, you know what, Super-Angelo, I have achieved my super goal. I have reached my super destination. Number 15, there are 5 waves that you have to cross towards your destination. And these 5 waves are basically the 5 core beliefs. Number 1, to believe that you actually want what you say that you want. It might sound odd, but do you want a 6-pack or a 6-pack? We all have conflicting beliefs, right? So you want like to have an amazingly sculpted, let's say, body, or you want to have a 6-pack of beers every single day. You have to choose, right? You have to choose between, doubling your business and binge watching your favorite series while eating popcorn, let's say. So we always have to make sure that we believe that we truly want what we say that we want. Number 2, to believe that you deserve your destination, to believe that you deserve achieving your goal. Number 3, to believe that you can actually do it, because you will not do much if you don't believe you can do it, right? You won't take the next step so easily. Number 4, to believe that you will do it. And you might say, Angelo, if I want something, I really want it badly enough. If I believe I deserve it, if I believe I can do it, I won't do it. And the answer is yes. Do you want to lose these extra like 20 pounds? Yes. Do you believe you deserve to be slimmer and feel better, with your health and everything? Yes. Is there a way to do it? I mean, is there any diet, any way of doing it? Yes. How many people are doing it? Not that many, right? Because they haven't crossed wave number 4. And wave number 5 is being able to see yourself at your destination while you're still here, let's say. Your body is in what we call reality, what we perceive as reality, but your mind and your emotions are already at your destination. This is wave number 5. Now, 16 and 17 are basically like what I like to call two cousins. It's patience and persistence. Number 16, persistence. I was persisting from day one of my life. I always remember myself persisting at anything. And I thought that persistence was a virtue, and it's not. Persisting at what matters to you is a virtue. Otherwise, it's kind of a curse. And it took me a long way to find about that. So you want to persist at what truly matters to you, at what deserves to be a part of your unique life, and you want to let go of everything else. And patience. Many people would say, Angelo, I've read like 4 daily shots of inspiration and I'm still, like $10,000 in debt. What is going on? Or I've read this book. Everybody said it is an amazing book. What is happening? I'm still, like without this amazing relationship that I want, or I'm still so many pounds overweight. And this is where you want to practice patience. At what, though? You want to practice patience at the cycles of life. For instance, if you're pregnant, right, and it is day 1, you have to wait about 9 months until you have your baby. Now, maybe in the future, the technology will allow us to have babies in like 2 months, but for now, you have to wait 9 months. Next, number 18. So now we're going to the really tough ones, let's say. When I grew up, I was kind of mentally and emotionally bullied from my family and my friends and so many others. Basically, because and I'm not bitter about them. I'm bitter about the fact that I wasn't being able to realize number 1 and do something about it, number 2. But what I like to say here is that you truly want to tell yourself all the bravos that your family, your teachers, and your coaches didn't tell you as you were growing up. This is very, very important. So no matter how small a victory is, let's say tomorrow you arrive at your meeting with an important client 1 minute earlier. Just congratulate yourself. Like, bravo, Super-Angelo. This was an amazing webinar. Bravo. 4,000 daily shots of inspiration. Bravo. Because the moment you say that to yourself, immediately there is like a rush of dopamine and your mind says, you know what? This felt good. I want more of that. So your mind will do its best to help you have more wins. Next, number 19. You don't have to understand anything, any of what I'm telling you. You only have to do it. You only have to act, reflect, and act a bit more. So those of you who've been to the army will know for sure what I'm talking about. Like the general will not say, okay, Angelo, I need 5 minutes with you. I want to explain to you what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and why I think it's a good idea. No, the general will say, go there, like take this building, attack. That's about it. And everybody else acts. This is how you want to feel. And for sure, I'm not saying that you take orders from somebody else, but you want to take orders from your super self. As I like to say, my vision is my boss. And in this way, you know what the right move is all the time. This is why you want to have this clear and compelling desire at the forefront of your thought. Number 20. Regardless of how fake the world is, and it gets even more fake by the minute, everything that you feel is 100% true. And it is happening when? Right now. So, for instance, every time we're getting close to Christmas, one of the things that I will do for sure is watch Die Hard again and again. And of course, at some point, I might feel fearful, or I might share, like the stress of all the actors, like in a dangerous moment, let's say, or for sure for Bruce Willis, all the anticipation to make sure that he wins the bad guys and so on. And this movie was filmed 40 years ago, and we are still living right here, right now, the same emotions, because no matter whether it is something that you imagine or you experience for real, the emotion is 100% real for sure. Why is that important? Because now that we talk about emotions, you want to remember that there's no way for you to feel two reflecting emotions at the same time. So, for example, you cannot feel fear and gratitude at the same time. It's impossible. Now you know why these 5 to Thrive exercises are so powerful, because regardless of how stressed you feel right now, you can elevate your emotional state in a matter of minutes. And if you do the exercise of gratitude and feel like truly grateful for at least 20 things, and I ask you, okay, why were you so stressed before? You might say, you know what, I don't remember. Or you might say, I don't want to go back there, which means you're in control of your thought. Again, you reminded yourself that you're in control of your emotional state, and then you're happy and unstoppable, happy and unstoppable towards your destination. Number 22. What Tony Robbins calls your emotional home is more important than your 3D, let's say, real home. It is more important than your physical address. And why is that? Let me tell you why. Because, for example, if you have stress about money right now and you win the lottery, you will have stress about not losing that money, or you will have stress about something else, because stress has been your emotional home. It has been your predominant emotion, and immediately it will magnetize your thoughts back at it. So the only way to go about it is start building a brand new emotional fortress and move out of your old emotional home and into your emotional fortress as soon as possible. And how you go about it? By focusing on what makes you feel better, by practicing the 5 to Thrive, regardless of what is going on in your life, because your thoughts control how you feel, not your experiences. Next, 23. Let's just say right now, you have a very challenging moment in your life. I surely had many of those during the last 3 years. Let me tell you this. In the beginning, I felt, like, oh, why is this happening to me, and so on. And at some point, I had one of the biggest revelations of my life, because the thought that I had was never, ever miss that opportunity again. And I thought, oh, what am I talking about? Opportunity. I'm feeling bad here. So what is that opportunity? It's the opportunity to feel unique, authentic, amazing self-confidence. Because self-confidence borrowed from a victory, borrowed from a race, or like a gold medal in the Olympics, is not self-confidence. When, like thousands of people are cheering you on, this is not self-confidence. This is borrowed. When you have a big challenge in your life and you manage to elevate your emotional state and feel powerful with the challenge, with the problem. That is self-confidence, and that can never ever be taken away from you. So never ever miss that opportunity. Number 24, I want to talk about the difference between blame and responsibility. So many times we say, okay, who's responsible about, like this mistake that cost the company like $100,000? No. This is about putting the blame. And this has everything to do with the past. What I truly care about is who will take the responsibility to take you to your destination, to make you your super self. And if you see it that way, if you upgrade your perspective that way, you immediately realize that you are responsible for your future, regardless of whose fault is it that brought you here. If it is you or somebody else, it doesn't matter. We don't care. All that matters to you is who will assume responsibility for your super future. And that has to be you, my friend. Next, number 25, you don't forget the past. Basically, if you have like even an unconscious wish to forget the past, basically this is how Alzheimer begins. This is how it happens. It is your wish coming true, like you want to forget, right? So you don't want to forget your past. You don't want to heal your past, and you cannot do anyway because you cannot change your past. It's in the past. It's gone. What you can do, though, is heal your perspective about the past. Make sure that you see your past as a blessing, as the foundation to your super future, rather than seeing it as, like something very terrible that happened to me. It's the same event. Your perspective is upgraded in a way that empowers you. Number 26. Another amazing book is The Power of Now from Eckhart Tolle, right? I'm almost certain you've heard it and maybe read it as well. I want to take this to the next level, though. I want to call what is happening to us at any given moment the power of wow. Simply because, even if possible, 24/7, we'll live from the inspiration of having already achieved our super life, in a way that our super self is always in charge, in a way that our super self is always guarding our thoughts and actions. Number 27, I want to explain basically what lucky and unlucky means, because there's no such thing as luck in a universe that has laws, right? And it's not that the universe didn't wake up well today and said, okay, I'm going to cut gravity to the half today, or I'm going to flip gravity, so everybody will be going up today. No, the laws are irrevocable. So what does luck, being lucky or unlucky mean? Lucky means having a favorable event, or what we think is serving or favorable, and not knowing how it happened, not being able to perceive how or why it happened. Unlucky is having an unfavorable event, or something that we perceive as something that is limiting us in a way, and we're not able to perceive how it happened. So I will give you an example right now. Let's just say you're driving and you're on the main road and somebody crosses, like a stop sign and bumps you. So you have an accident and you feel bad about it. You definitely feel that, why is this happening to me right now? I am already late for work. I have an important meeting and now this happens. And it was a brand new car and whatever, right? And you feel unlucky that this happened. Let's just elevate your consciousness a bit. So if you have like a brand new car with 5 or 6 cameras, let's have another camera. And that camera, though, is at the top of the building that sits in the corner of where you bumped with the other car. Okay? So now you can see exactly what is happening. you're about to hit them. And even though they have a stop sign, you see clearly that they're not braking. Wouldn't you brake? And you wouldn't have this unlucky moment because your consciousness was elevated. This is how important it is for you to stop calling yourself lucky or unlucky and just being able to say, okay, how can I elevate my consciousness to the point that it hugs what I want to achieve in a certain way? So, an example that I want to give to anyone who is having trouble, let's say, with how do I elevate my consciousness? We take the non-physical idea of elevating your consciousness and we give it a 3D reality look. So let's just say you're in the Empire State Building at the ground floor and you have a very limited perception of what New York looks like. But if you take yourself to the rooftop, you could see like a 360 view of the whole of Manhattan, because you have elevated your consciousness. And now you see more clearly what you want to achieve. Now, number 28, in the AI era that we have all walked into, and you know that artificial intelligence, will be messing up with our lives even more, basically in an accelerated manner from now on. What you want to remember is that the thing that AI is promising the most is what trumps success. And that is, AI is promising that everything will become easier and easier. So, for example, you can have a 5,000 word book in 30 seconds. Nobody said that you will have 5 million copies sold with that book, though, right? So you want to take this moment and see this development of AI and have it, like a mental anchor for you. And remember that the hard way is the easy way, and what you perceive as the easy way is actually the hard way. Right now, it would be much easier for you to binge watch your favorite series, definitely more relaxing, let's say, for your mind, but you are putting yourself at the challenge of upgrading your consciousness to make your life easier and to get closer to what you perceive as your super self, right? And by doing so, you're making the hard choice now to make your life easier tomorrow. This is your gym. This is your mental gym right now. And this is what I'm talking about. And this is also what you want, of course, to convey to your family and to your partners and employees and so on, because at some point, we've all had, been hooked by the ease of things, and then we became sloppy. And Sloppy-Angelo cannot do that much. I'm not going for the easy webinar. I'm going for the 90-minute webinar with the 40 things out of the 4,000 daily shots of inspiration that made, this journey, made me make through this journey, and can help you as well make through yours. 29, until you build momentum, everything will seem like a struggle against your old limiting habits and beliefs, because 95% of the work is done by your subconscious mind. That's it. As I'm talking to you right now, my subconscious is taking care of, my digestion and all these things, even the movement of my hands. I'm not saying, like to my hand, move forward a little bit, to the right a bit. No, this is all our subconscious mind. So what you want to make sure is that you create the habits that take you to your destination. As F.M. Alexander used to say, you don't choose your future. You choose your habits, and your habits choose your future. Number 30, you will either do what you want and get what you must, or you will do what you must to get what you want. So that means that right now you have a choice. Will you do, like I want to do, like eat like 5 burgers right now, whatever, like 6 bowls of pasta as well. Would you like to do that? Or would you like to do what gets you closer to your destination? This is the choice that you have. It is freedom right now to choose your best self or what feels great right now. Will you satisfy your ego or your soul? This is always a decision that you have at any given moment. Number 31. We've gone through the 30 most valuable lessons already, and I want to group them in just one sentence. It all has to do with a single thought. That's it. Thought is the seed of everything. So, for example, if you go to Dubai, you will see Burj Khalifa that is 853 meters high, if I remember correctly. And I don't remember how many feet, but that's about 2,500 feet or something like that. Okay. So if you go there and see Burj Khalifa, like take an amazing selfie, it all began with a single thought. I will create the tallest building in the world. Then there were some meetings with architects and then, like with some funds or whatever, but it all began with a single thought. Whatever you see around you, this webinar, whatever, 4,000 daily shots of inspiration began with a single thought. I want to inspire humanity. This is how it all began, with a single thought. What would be the single thought that will shift you right now towards the greatest version of you that there ever will be? And why am I telling you this? Not for your super thoughts, but your sloppy thoughts. You want to guard your thinking, because thoughts, let's say, are like passing meteors, and it's all if they will penetrate your consciousness or not. Thoughts do not reside in your brain. Thought is an activity that resonates with you or not. So I will give you an example right now. In the past few months, I have been swimming a lot. So I swim about 52 minutes to an hour. Okay. At some point, I am so relaxed and I am so attuned with my environment that I forget where I am and I forget about everything. At some point, like a few days ago, at some point as I was swimming, I thought of a project that I find very challenging right now. And I found myself having a sloppy thought, and then another one, and then another one. And as I was swimming, without realizing it, my emotional state was dropping to fear, anger, regret, and so many bad things, that ruin my consciousness, ruin my day and everything. And when I realized it, I've had this amazing, huge smile, and I told myself, "Whoa, sloppy Angelo, gotcha. I got you." And I realized that I will never, ever feel bad about feeling bad again, because now I see sloppy Angelo as a part of myself that will never, ever go away. And all I have to do is shift my attention from sloppy Angelo. Sloppy Angelo basically is the part of me that produces all this negativity. And it will always be a part of my life. And I cannot do anything about, I cannot kill sloppy Angelo, for example, but I can take my attention from sloppy Angelo. I can make sure I'm guarding my thoughts. I can make sure that the moment I have a negative thought, I do not replicate it. I do not create, like a negative vortex or swirl that will take me to the abyss of emotions. I will make sure that I will cut the oxygen from sloppy Angelo early on and elevate myself back with the 5 to thrive to the happy and unstoppable state. And this is what I did while swimming. I even did the happy landing with my eyes open, and that was it. I got myself back to a much higher emotional state. Where are we? Number 32. Since everything is energy, energy is everything. So this is not part of today's masterclass, but I don't know if you agree with me or not, but basically everything is energy. In one way or the other, everything is energy. Okay? Even my finger right now, this board, nothing is solid. It appears as solid, but it is basically either wavelengths that move in various frequencies. What truly matters, though, and you don't have to be an engineer about it. Okay, I'm fascinated about these things because I'm an engineer. But what matters is for you to realize that energy is everything, and that means that truly your emotional state is the most important thing in your life. It's the quality of your present and your ability to create a super future. It relies on how you feel right now. Number 33. Again, I want to put the hat of the engineer or the math whiz or geek that I was in the past. And I have a very square thinking in the past. Really. It's incredible. The shift that I've made is truly remarkable, because back in high school, it would take me like hours to write 100 words of essay. It was like torture to me. And now I'm writing 4,000 consecutive daily shots of inspiration as if it's nothing to me. Like it's as easy as breathing. I don't know how, I don't know why. So why am I telling you this though? Because I was always fond of maths and statistics. And there are so many statistics that might ruin your future, because statistics might say, like only 1% are millionaires, okay? And only 2% have the chance to do this, that, or the other. Let me tell you this, though. It's not the stats that tell what is going to happen. It's your belief in the statistics that tell you what is going to happen to you. So, for example, if you hear that only 1%, 1 out of 100 is a millionaire, you will say, okay, I'm going to be that one. I'm going to be that one of the 100. I am going to be the millionaire, right? Or you might say, okay, I will make sure that as of next year or next month, it will be 2%. It will be 2 out of 100 because it was the other one and now it's me as well. I will make my own statistics. You want to have 100% certainty that what you want will happen. You make your own statistics. This is how you sculpt your belief system around success. Number 34. Imagination is stronger than knowledge, Einstein said. Why is this important? Because we all use our imagination all day long. Most people, what will do is use their imagination to create the most horrible, the most destructive future ever. And I tell many clients, and I've said many times before in other webinars, that maybe we've watched too many movies and too many soap operas or whatever, right? And we have accustomed ourselves to all this drama. And it doesn't have to be this way. We can use our imagination to create the best future ever and to replicate that image again and again until we become so accustomed to it that it becomes our super future for real and our new super present, basically. Next, this was one of the revelations that I've had, especially when I was brainstorming or when I was having, like tough moments and I would go out for a walk. And many times I was looking up in the blue Greek sky. And as I was looking at the sky, my father was teaching me, like astronomy from a very young age. And I always, loved the constellations and looking at the moon and everything. But at some point, I realized it was a very clear day back then that I've had this realization. And not only that, I was in a place where I could see almost 100 degrees of the horizon. So I said to myself, wow, right now I am looking at half of the universe. Basically, the other half was under me. Okay. So the thing is, though, you could go out and look at a very big chunk of the universe. And if you start asking yourself, what is out there? What is going on out there? What else is there? And you start expanding, like do a very, even with your eyes open, even as I'm speaking right now, a very short meditation that you take yourself up from the city that you're in and your country and Earth and our solar system and the Milky Way and the whole universe. You go out to the whole universe and ask yourself, what else is there? And when you bring yourself back, your problems, your challenges will look very, very small in a matter of seconds, because you've shifted your perspective. And the second bonus reason why this is powerful is that then you realize that you know very little about life and everything. And that means that potentially there is out there virtually infinite help and support for you. So many people that you don't know that can help you achieve what you want to achieve. Like, for example, right now, you might even have what is called like a very serious disease, an incurable disease. And on the other side of the planet, like a 22-year-old at some college could be working with a solution as we speak. And the best expert in the world would say, this is incurable. There's no way you can get around this. And there is a solution coming up, but we don't know about it, right? And while you were going about your business the past few weeks, I was working on this presentation to help you, have a very condensed overview of what we've been talking about for 4,000 days, so that it can be your guide from now on. And you can get much happier, much faster, and much easier where you want to go. Next, 36. Stop the endless analysis paralysis, futile soul searching. And psychology and technology have come a long way in the past couple of centuries, for sure. But the thing is, though, that technology can tell us right now what is going on with our minds, how it works, how we can improve our thinking, how we can cultivate new beliefs. So in the past, it would be a completely endless soul searching, and you would have to go, like 1,000 journeys to your early days, maybe at school or as a toddler, and find some limitations and some traumas and all these things. You don't have to do that, actually. All you have to do is to focus on the beliefs that you want to build. Because every time you have a thought, you either have a new connection, a new neural pathway, a new synapses between two neurons, or you strengthen an existing one. And in our brain, it is the survival of the busiest. So you have an old belief, and it is very strong, like Angelo is worth nothing. Like my webinars are the worst webinars in the world. And now I want to cultivate a new belief that my webinars are the best in the world. In the beginning, this is a very delicate connection, synapses. And it's not strong enough. But if I persist, this one will atrophy, and at some point, the connection, the synapses will be cut. So all you have to do basically is to focus on the thoughts that you want to make habits and the actions that you want to make habits. That's about it. That's about it. Stop, because energy flows where your focus goes. And you might have a revelation about your past, and you might say, oh, now I know what this is happening to my life. And lo and behold, soon enough, you will find another reason, and then another reason, and then another reason. Because if you have a challenge in your life, you will start to make everything look like this is the cause of it. While what you truly care about is not to find the cause of what happened up until now, but to create your super future. You have one life to do it. You don't have 10. So focus on what truly matters to you. Number 37. I want to talk about now two words that maybe you've heard me say before. It's basically the explanation of why nothing, truly nothing, is impossible. And the two words are out possible and impossible with N. So what is going on? We want to achieve something, and we believe that it is impossible. It's not impossible, it is out possible. It is out of our consciousness. So let's take an example. Like the Wright brothers, they wanted to be the first ones that would make a machine that flies, right? So in the beginning, the flying machine, that wasn't called an airplane back then, okay, so the flying vehicle or whatever was outside of their consciousness, was out possible. But after one test and another test, and after a lot of putting attention and energy into the project, their consciousness elevated where the knowledge became impossible within their consciousness of what is possible. And you know what? This knowledge was already there. I mean, ancient Greeks could have created, or in ancient Egypt, they could have created the first plane if they put the same attention to make something and grow their consciousness to that level. This is why I told you in the very beginning that flow and miraculous downloads are possible. It's just a matter of putting your focus there. It is just a matter of taking your attention of whatever challenge is messing up with your mind right now and with your emotional state. Next, you want 38. We're almost there. And I want to tell you that another big lesson that I've had during these 4,000 days is that you want to be more delusional about your future. Logic will not take you very far. It will make you feel comfortable until you are uncomfortable, until the things you were comfortable with don't work anymore. Your logical mind is like the small computer that I was playing games with back in 1987, compared to your subconscious mind, compared to infinite intelligence that you can tap into when you put your attention out there. And maybe begin by asking yourself, what else is possible? I mean, now that I have access to all these amazing tools and artificial intelligence, all for free. And a great idea with AI is not to ask, what should be my subject for my next email, or whatever, I don't know. How can I make a drill in the wall or whatever? Ask AI, what else is possible, with this, that, or the other technology? What else is out there for humanity 10 and 20 and 50 years from now? How can we make this world a better place? Let your imagination grow to the point that maybe it feels a bit scary, but you get a taste of infinity. Next, number 39, I want to talk to you about the single word, the one word that truly changed my life. And that word is super, that simple word. Because I've had many conversations where I would call a client, like super this, that, or the other, and they would call me Super-Angelo for a couple of years now for sure. But you know what? It was a year and a half ago that I took this to the next level. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going for a super walk. And now I'm going for a super swim. And now I'm going to make a super webinar. And now I'm going to write a super daily shot of inspiration. And I'm going to prepare a super breakfast for myself. And now I'm going to make a super call with my client. And I'm going to have a super meeting. And this prefix made everything better. And you know what? There are no known side effects to having, like to sprinkle more super in your life. It only gets better because you put your attention where it serves you. Number 40, we're there. Okay, Angelo, I started doing the super thing that you said, and now I am fearful. Why is that? It is because the super feeling that you might have had is brand new to you. And everything that is new in our consciousness means fear. And fear triggers our number one priority. It's not your happiness, it's not your family. You think it is, but it's not. It's not the success in your business, it's survival. This is your number one priority, survival. So the moment you feel amazingly well, the moment you are ready to make breakthroughs with a loving family, with your business and everything, that very moment, you revert yourself back to the old way of thinking that feels safe. And how you go about it? You make happy landing your top priority until you familiarize yourself with the new super emotions, until you train your nervous system to accept your super self, until you retrain your muscle memory to have super actions instead of sloppy actions. And sloppy actions, there's nothing wrong with them. They got you here, but they cannot take you where you want to go. And of course, just because my name is Angelo and just because Super-Angelo, just because my name is Super-Angelo and just because this is a 4K party for 4,000 daily shots of inspiration, of course, you could expect that the list is not 40, but it is 41. And last but not least, I want to tell you this. All the 40 lessons that I talked to you about, this is the most important lesson of all, the 41st. All these 40 lessons are worthless without you. All that we've discussed, all that I've been talking about for 72 minutes depend on your choices. You are the one. So right now, tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now, you will have the freedom and the responsibility to choose your next thought, to choose what you're going to do today and tomorrow. And this is irrevocable. And why am I telling you this? Because knowledge is meaningless. What truly matters is what is part of your operating system, what is part of your habitual movements, your habitual thoughts. This is the way to make your super future your next super present. So this is the most important reminder of all, that you are in charge of your super future. It's up to you. You are in, regardless of how loud the outer world is and how many obstacles and challenges appear, this freedom will never go away, and this responsibility will never go away. Remember, this was my purpose for today. Number one, I wanted us to have fun, to elevate our emotional state, to feel better than we got started. I hope I made this for you. Number two, I wanted to remind you of your latent inner power. It's not about knowledge. It's about turning the knowledge into your new upgraded operating system in exactly the same way that you upgrade an application or any software on your PC. That's about it. So last but not least, I want to thank you for being part of this amazing 4,000 journey. Thank you for being a part of this 4K super party. And I want once again to remind you that you deserve everything you want, and we all deserve your best self. And not only that, if you turn some, at least some of the things that we've talked about today into your new super habits, your vision will become a reality. As simple as that, because your super self will be in charge. So once again, thank you so much for being a part of this. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoy writing each and every daily shot of inspiration for you. And of course, we are going to meet tomorrow with Daily Shot of Inspiration 4001. Ciao, ciao.